It was there, on February 1st, that Frank helped guide in a huge 685-foot Greek-registered oil tanker. The tanker was named the Global Hope, and its cargo of oil was to be offloaded at a power plant. The job was a routine one for Frank, and he thought the next time he'd hear from the tanker would be when it was ready to leave and a pilot was needed. Instead, fate, the actions of the tanker's captain, and a blizzard of incredible fury set in motion events that spiraled out of control. Key vessels and crew members. Can-Do, a 49-foot pilot boat with Captain Frank E. Quirk II, Charles Bucko, Kenneth Fuller, Jr., Norman David Curley, and Donald Wilkinson aboard. Coast Guard 44-foot motor lifeboat. The 44, a frequently used rescue boat carrying seamen Robert Crom and Roger Matherin, engineer Tom DeRosiers, and skipper coxswain Bob McElvride. Global Hope, a Greek-registered oil tanker, 682 feet in length with a crew of 32 men. Coast Guard cutter Cape George, 95 feet. Key crew members include Dennis Hoffer, Glenn Snyder, Myron Verville, Bob Donovan, and Vern DiPietro. Coast Guard cutter Decisive, 210 feet. Crew members include Jim Quinn, Rich Fitcher, and Jim Sawyer. Part 1. 1. The Gathering Storm. Frank Quirk often spent the night aboard the Can-Do. On the morning of February 6, 1978, he awoke wondering when it would snow. The prior evening's weather forecast called for snowfall to begin in the early morning hours, yet there wasn't a flake in the sky, just low, leaden clouds and a bitter cold breeze. He could have caught a little more sleep because no piloting jobs were scheduled, but that wasn't his nature. The 49-year-old former Navy Seabee, Seabee as in CB, Construction Battalion, a force that builds whatever the military needs, such as bridges or hospitals, with a wife and 3 children, was disciplined and full of energy. Although Frank's crew-cut hair was mostly gray, he kept in tip-top shape and was quite strong, with a stocky build. He was well-liked with an easygoing manner and a ready smile. Frank had been plying these waters for over 20 years and had a healthy respect for the sea. He considered himself fortunate. His work allowed him to be his own boss, and instead of laboring in an office, he could be on the ocean nearly every day. Frank loved the sea, both the freedom it afforded as well as its challenges and ever-changing nature. He felt the same about the Can-Do, which he had named with the Seabee's motto. Among Gloucester's fishing and boating community, Frank was well known. He had received 2 Mariners' Medals for heroism at sea and countless times aided boaters in distress. Sometimes he just brought fuel to a skipper who had run out of gas, or dived overboard to retrieve a pair of eyeglasses dropped by a careless boater. One recreational boater recalled radioing for assistance when the engine on his motorboat conked out on a beautiful Saturday afternoon. Frank was relaxing on the Can-Do, several miles away. When no boaters close to the motorboat came on the radio, Frank went on the air, offering a tow from Gloucester to the boat's home port in Marblehead, several miles away. The tow and return trip consumed 6 or 7 hours of Frank's day off, but he refused to accept any payment. He usually just said, "It was nothing at all," or if the boat had fishermen aboard, "Just throw me a fish next time you see me." His kids said Frank brought home a lot of fish and lobsters. On that Monday morning, Frank was listening to the marine radio in the Can-Do's wheelhouse. Surrounded by small rectangular glass windows, he had a good view of Gloucester's inner harbor, where all manner of boats were docked, from battered and rusting fishing trawlers to sleek, modern pleasure yachts. The National Weather Service was announcing an updated forecast, saying the snow was still coming and would be accompanied by high winds. Meteorologists explained that the snowfall could be significant, and some even used the term blizzard, but few gave any inkling that New Englanders were about to be pounded by a blizzard of incredible proportions. New England's